I have some thoughts for an 18-year-old that I love. I have 2 kids, unfortunately, they're way beyond 18, but I try to remember what I used to say to them and what I still say to them. I'm not sure they listen, but anyhow, here goes. I have 8 thoughts. My first thought is be bold, be fearless. Don't be limited by fear, or by fear of things going wrong. Things always go wrong. The best decisions, the best inventions are a mixture of mistakes and restarts and doubt and perseverance and lucky breaks. So it's really important. Learn resilience. I'm not quite sure how you learn resilience. I think sport is a very good way to learn resilience. You're knocked down, you have to get back up, but it's really important to learn resilience. And Samuel Beckett said it best. He said, fail again, fail better. My third thought, hang out with smart people. It's really important. You need to nourish your brain. If you're the smartest person in the room, friend, you're in the wrong room. Hold on to your friends. You'll need them, keep them close. There'll be a time when you really need them. It's not just fun, you will need them. And focus on what's good in your life, particularly when things aren't going well. And these can be very, very small things, but be quite systematic and quite disciplined about focusing on even small things that are good in your life. As I said, it'll help you through the bad times. Cultivate kindness. If you look at writers, the kind of writers that we used to study when we were students, we were told you have to read Sartre. Very little kindness in Sartre. But if you look at people like Montaigne and Joyce, they talk about very difficult lives, and there's great kindness and great forgiveness in them. I mentioned Joyce because he's my favourite writer. He's also Irish, and his great book Ulysses is about a man wandering around Dublin while he knows that his wife is about to hop into bed with somebody else, but he loves her still, and he says, well, that's kind of part of it. And it's also about their son who died and about how that impacted on their lives. So there's great wisdom and insight and kindness to people who are not doing kind things to him, because he knows that in the long run it'll be okay. Time is precious. You're 18, you think you've got endless amounts of time. You don't. The clock is ticking, so don't waste your time beating yourself up about the opinions of people that ultimately you don't care about. They may be powerful, they may have an impact in your life, but you know something, they're not important, and why do you worry about them? Cultivate a sense of curiosity. This is so important. We know so little about so much, and if you're not curious, well then, you know, life isn't worth living unless you're desperately curious about all the stuff we don't know. And my final, this is my 8th point, when you're obsessing about something, and again when things aren't going well, learn to relativize and say to yourself, will this matter in 10 minutes? Will it matter in 10 months? Or will it matter in 10 years? And adjust your life accordingly. So that's it, 8 thoughts for an 18-year-old. Okay, I hope it's useful. I have 2 minutes with a local politician, with some politician. Okay, this is what I'd say to you. So what do you want to be remembered for? How do you want history to remember you? And you may kick for touch. You may say, oh, well, the issues out there are huge and they'll take years and budgets and we don't have the money and we don't have the time and we don't have the answers, and all of that is rubbish. You're the politician, you've been elected. So governments fall, people get kicked out of office. You may be out of office in 6 months' time, you may be out of office in 6 weeks' time. So with this very precious amount of time that your citizens, your fellow citizens have given you, what do you want to do? And I'm very interested in small steps that can have a big impact. So in the 6 weeks or 6 months or whatever you might have before you leave office, who knows, what do you want to do? I think of people who made a huge impact on their own in that kind of scenario. Okay, somebody like Jules Ferry in France in the 1880s, who probably was the most influential person in modernizing France in a number of years in the 1880s by bringing in very strong legislation, visionary legislation around primary schooling. He changed this country and he gave an example to other countries. It's things that seem small, but he said that every child in France, every young girl, every young boy should be within walking distance of a school. And you think about that. Does that happen now? In how many countries could you say that education is that easily accessible? He said that teachers should be qualified and that they should be supervised, not kind of negative supervision, but that there should be a quality education. He didn't use those words, but he said really nothing is good enough for these kids. Everything should be accessible, this life-enhancing, transforming experience. And he just went with that. I know he's quite a contentious figure now in some areas, but I just think, wow, the vision of that guy. You read his speeches, the speeches he made at the time, you know, there's a freshness about them. People say that among the huge issues that we're confronting now, okay, issues to do with the environment, issues to do with public health. So in the 6 weeks or 6 months that you have left before there may be an election, what are you going to do? What small steps could you take? And so I'm Irish, I think about things, good things that happened in my country, you know, apart from the banks crashing, there were some good things. In 2002, a politician decided that on his own he would try to get a ban on plastic bags. It may seem very small, but it's not. I read the other day in Le Monde that in a couple of years' time, the weight of plastic in the oceans of this world will be equal to the weight of fish in the oceans. I mean, it's a horrific, it's a mind-boggling thought. So, as I said, he decided, okay, we're going to do away with plastic bags, we're going to ban them, or we're going to make them expensive to buy. People said he was a zealot, people said there were more interesting things to be focused on, and so on and so on, and he stood firm, and basically he got the plastic bag banned through, and in the space of 1 week, the use of plastic bags dropped by 95%. So one person on his own and managed that. I think it's great. Something else that seems small, in 2004, Ireland became the first country to ban smoking in the workplace, a comprehensive ban, no exceptions, nothing. And before that, there had been, you know, partial bans. Again, the politician who brought that in, I think even he would say that he wasn't a charismatic figure. He didn't carry this through because of the force of his personality. He just decided, this is it, I'm here, whatever amount of time I've got left, that's what I'm going to do. He was called a zealot. He was told he should retire. He was told the pubs of the country would close because people wouldn't be able to smoke. He said, well, you know, we're going to do this. And he convinced people little by little by little. He got young people on his side and so on. And now basically that ban is in force. As I said, it's the first country in the world to do that. And obviously the consequences, the positive impact on people's health is incalculable. So a small step in the next 6 weeks. So what's your small step going to be, and what's your question going to be, and how will you be remembered? I'm waiting.